Happy new moon, I am back and I want to have this video really go out to my seed planters, my intention setters, my productivity peoples, right? So this particular new moon, you're going to want to pay attention if that's you. If you're someone who typically is like, oh, the new moon is here and I'm aware that I'm supposed to set intentions, and I've said this before in my videos, not every single new moon is meant for that. This is the one. This is the one, and it's also really great timing because this is the one to start off 2024. So if you've been kind of struggling with setting your intentions, I don't do resolutions, but maybe if that's your thing, or trying to plan out the first quarter of the year or all of 2024, this is going to be the one that you're going to want to pay attention to. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to suggest is to make sure that when you're doing your intention settings or goal planning or whatever it is that you're doing, whatever kinds of productivity planning or project planning that you're doing, not to do it just from this new moon to the next new moon. I would say that this particular new moon, this January actually overall, but especially this new moon today and tomorrow, would be the time to really capitalize on planning long term, looking at the big picture. What are the overall structures? What are the overall habits? What are the overall embodiments that need to shift? What kinds of, I know nobody likes the word, or not many people like the word discipline, but what kinds of disciplines, what kinds of things need to be implemented in order for you to get where you want to go. And also just like when I think of planning, I think of like architecture. I think that like we're becoming like the architect of our experience. And so we're drawing out the framework and each of the rooms and where everything's going to go, right? That's how I think of planning. And so I would encourage you to think of your planning this way. So again, this is the time that I would capitalize on this. I mean, January, honestly, 2024, this month, whatever kinds of things that you implement in this month, whatever kinds of habits, planning, structures that you kind of lay the foundation for, this is what's actually going to set you up for the rest of the year. And that sounds stereotypical, but the thing is that like we think of that every year, right? Oh, January sets us up for the rest of the year. But that's not always true astrologically, right? So this time we have astrology backing us up for this and is really saying like, hey, if you want the rest of 2024 to go a little bit easier, to be a little bit more smooth through the bumps, this is the month to set it up, and this is the moon to do it. All right, second thing that I want to mention here. So this new moon was squaring the nodes. When it was exact, not to say that that influence isn't carried forward. What this implies, though, what this speaks to is that, so the nodes, if you aren't aware, those are connected to where we have the eclipses, right? And so when certain planetary or celestial bodies are in certain relationship with them, it can kind of ping or create a connection to certain periods of time. That's the most succinct way that I can put it. I hope that doesn't seem too vague or cryptic. So when we're looking at this particular new moon, there is some kind of connection to what we just experienced in this last eclipse for the October early eclipse season. That was rough for me. And also looking forward at this spring, right? So we're kind of in this in-between place. So you may feel like some of those themes come forward, not necessarily like they show up in this really profound way, depending on your chart, that could be the case. However, this might just kind of bring those things to the surface where you happen to be thinking of those things, or they are top of mind, top of heart, top of feeling, whatever it is. And I would say that if that's so for you, if you're someone who's experiencing that, the question that I would ask myself, and that I am asking myself, is how does this inform where I'm moving forward? How does this inform, like, how have the themes from that season, from this last eclipse season, how has that impacted me? How has that potentially changed me? How am I still maybe working through that? And how does that maybe shift the ideas and plans that I have going forward, right? So I would incorporate that into the questions that you're asking yourself with these big picture questions. Now, along with this new moon energy, sorry, I'm giggling because my cat is just vying for my attention. If you hear her in the background, that's what you hear. So anyway, the other thing that I would mention is that I feel like we're getting some kind of really cool support with this particular new moon. Today and into tomorrow, there is a Mars in trine Jupiter, right? Mars trine Jupiter building to exact. It'll be exact tomorrow on the 12th, but we're being influenced by today. They're already in trine by degree, at least, maybe not by exact minute, but they're by degree already trining. And so this is a really supportive thing, right? Trines are of the aspects, I would say the most friendly, the most easeful. And so when you take something like Mars, like this kind of drive and the warrior and the action orienter, I'm just going to call it that, this kind of fire type of energy, and we marry that with the kind of energy that comes from a benefic like Jupiter, which is so expansive and generous and full of opportunity and typically, like stereotypically, abundance. But yes, that's part of its significations, right? And we marry those two together and we have this like kind of generous victor, basically. And so I would say, how would that look and feel for you? Or if it doesn't incorporate into the idea of yourself or what you're creating for your life, then how are you noticing the support and the energy that you're getting from that, right? It's just supportive in general. You may or may not notice it. It may fall into the background. However, with Jupiter being in Taurus, which is very much a earth sign, it's very like fixed, grounded, like material, like tangible kind of place. I also feel like this is the kind of support or opportunity or assistance that we need with that drive, with that energy going forward. Now, Mars being in Capricorn is where it is in a very good place. It does very, very well there. And so Mars is happy and it's in trine to Jupiter. And so it just feels really powerful, but grounded and somehow like a burst of energy, but assistive. And so I really like this combination. It really just feels good. So it's happening today. We're already experiencing it today on the 11th, but we will be feeling that into the 12th because it'll be exact to the minute on the 12th, right? So I just feel like this is like all of these things. I let you guys know this because you may or may not be familiar with the astrology. Maybe your eyes start to glaze over when I start talking too much astrology, but really what it comes down to is I'm trying to build the picture for you so that you can see for yourself that this is an opportune time. It's an opportune moment for us to take advantage of. And I want you to take advantage of it. I'm going to. Okay, last couple things really quickly. So for those of you who are familiar with your natal chart, and if you are a Capricorn rising, so it's ruling your first house, or if you have a lot of, or just some prominent placements with different planetary bodies in the first house, I'm going to say that this January overall, but especially this new moon, is going to feel like it feels probably more prominent and felt for you. So you may come to the end of this month especially, or a little bit beyond, and feeling like either aesthetically how you present or your character and your personality or your body in some way, like there might be shifts that happen that feel pivotal, that feel different, that you feel somehow changed on the other side of. And I think in a good way for most of you, right? Again, without looking at somebody's personal charts. But I just see that and I'm like, man, there are some Capricorns and Capricorn risings that are lucky. Okay, other thing really quickly, I lost track of my dates. I actually didn't realize that today was the 11th. I thought tomorrow was the 11th. So when I woke up this morning and realized it was the 11th, I quickly scrambled to get on here, hence the very cozy, I mean it's snowing, but hence the cozy look. So the tarot readings, the bi-weekly tarot readings for all signs, I'm recording them right after this and then we'll get them uploaded. So those should be out late tonight. If not all of them come out tonight, then early morning tomorrow. So apologies for that. But yeah, I've got some things to talk about. I've got some things to share, to announce. Those will be rolling out slowly. A lot of the changes I was talking about at the end of last year are probably going to be more so in like March, but seems like a long way away, but it also seems really close. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful. Please share it if it was, and big plans for 2024. I'll see you guys.